Welcome to a new episode of the Startup Show. Today we're here at the Bridgemaker offices in Berlin, and I'm super excited to meet with the managing director and founder of Zalvus. Welcome to the show, Matilda.
Hello.
Welcome back to a new episode of the Startup Show. Today we are here at the Bridgemaker offices, a company built here in Berlin, which is really exciting. Thank you very much, and we can use your offices for these recordings. So Matilda, today you are my guest. I'm super excited to have you on the Startup Show. Maybe you can give us a little bit of background about yourself.
Hello, I'm Matilda. I'm 25 years old and I am the founder and managing director of Zalvus. I'm originally from Berlin. I was just gone for about 7 years, so for my studies and for getting a little bit of work experience and also for founding the company. But then we came back originally for an Accelerator program, which is why we're back in the main city of Germany.
Sure. I want to get back to the Accelerator a little bit later, but before I would like you to introduce us to your startup.
Yeah.
Maybe give us, in a nutshell, a short elevator pitch about what you do.
Yeah. So generally what we do is we bring online marketing technologies and big data analytics into recruiting. So we observed that online marketing measures are used on an everyday basis in other industries, such as in e-commerce, for example, and that if a new product is launched on a platform such as Amazon, online marketing techniques are used in order to inform the target group about a certain product. Right. And that's exactly what we bring into recruiting. So we help companies in the search for fitting employees or for personnel by means of online marketing technologies. So basically we make people aware of job opportunities before they know that they exist. And that's how we activate the so-called passively searching people. Yeah. So people that would not actively use, for example, job boards or professional networks such as Xing or LinkedIn, because they are not actively searching for a new profession. But if their attention is drawn to an opportunity on a channel that they use on an everyday basis, whether it's social media, whether it's looking for a recipe, booking a flight or whatever, and that's where people are actually interested in new opportunities.
Sure. I mean, what I like to do on the show is I would like to get an example of, let's say, a company that used you in the past, where you can really show the process, let's say, from the moment that a company approaches you, that they're looking for a certain job position to be filled, till they actually found someone. Maybe you can elaborate on that point.
Sort of walk you through the process. Yes. Yeah, so basically a company can approach us with any position. So we've done positions in hospitals, we've done positions in logistics, we've done lots of IT and engineering positions. So we work basically independent of the industry, independent of the qualification, and independent of the location. So any company with any difficulty or any difficult position can approach us, and we quickly cross-check the target group to see how many people generally would be available. And then we build a so-called landing page for the specific vacancy. So it's basically a very innovative or new way to present a position. You can sort of unfold different boxes. It's very thorough, very informative. You can look at the salary, at the location, at the team, the colleagues, the surroundings of the office, and so on. And it is our job to distribute that landing page or the job post that we generate online so it reaches the right people. Like I said before, people are just generally in the internet doing whatever they do, and their attention is drawn to the job posts, and then they can get in touch with us via basically any channel. So we have people just sending their CVs, we have people calling us, we have people getting in touch via WhatsApp. So basically any channel that the candidate prefers, just to sort of give us a note that he or she is interested generally, and then we talk to the candidates on the phone, qualify them or pre-qualify them, and anyone that is interested and qualified is then forwarded by means of a profile to the company.
Interesting. So I saw a little bit of the success rate, because I think it's a really innovative way how to find new candidates for a job that might be hard to fill. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the statistics that you're currently looking at.
Yeah, so generally with our campaigns, we reach an average of 50,000 impressions, which basically means, I always call it pairs of eyeballs that sort of see the ad in their everyday life. So it could be reading something very industry specific and having a banner and seeing sort of an ad. Right. Same thing is used in e-commerce, for example, like I said in the beginning.
My blog too.
On your blog as well, there you go. You know what I'm talking about, excellent. And so of those 50,000 impressions or eyeballs, basically, we have 500 people that visit the landing page. So 500 people that actually are exposed to all the information on the job post. Yeah. And we then have an average of 35 applications that reach us as Zalvus. And then we have a very strict pre-qualification process. So we really only forward those that truly meet the criteria of the client.
Right.
Because we tell our clients, you will only get CVs of people that are interested, people that are qualified, because there's no need in them talking to people or having interviews with people that aren't qualified.
Okay, so let's talk about the early stages of the company. I saw you were in Plug and Play.
Yes.
Share a little bit of the experience, what it means to join an accelerator of such a prestigious Axel Springer.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we founded the company in Munich, and then we were accepted at the Axel Springer Plug and Play, or ASPP as it's called, in January 16, so 1.5 years ago about. And the program very much specializes on how to pitch your idea. So really, in a nutshell, in 5 minutes, in 3 minutes, and 10 minutes. So we have sort of different formats to really bring to the point, what do you do as a company? Because it sounds very simple, but it's not that simple to really pitch in a nutshell to the point what it is you do every day. We were exposed to a lot of investors, and we had a big demo day in the end. And what we personally, or us as a company, found most valuable was the networking. So the companies that you're exposed to, companies that are willing to work with younger, more innovative companies and approaches, and sort of get a touch and feel for what the upcoming generation wants to be changing about many different industries, in HR in our case.
Right. Beautiful segue into HR. Thank you for that, because that will be my next question.
Yeah.
I as a master's student, I really see that there's a lot of potential to change the way HR works. I had a couple of HR companies already on my show.
Okay.
But I'm very curious to know, how do you see, let's say, HR or recruiting in the next 5 to 10 years, when you say you will say it's something digital, but I'm curious to know what you have to say.
Yeah, so I mean, that the war of talents has significantly broken out, so to say, is not a secret. I mean, we're all aware of that. Yeah. Companies have severe or significant difficulties in finding excellent personnel. The people that are highly qualified, especially in sort of the newer areas, so in the whole digitization area and the whole industrialization 4.0, and so those are talents that every company really, really wants. And that's something that's basically my daily business. Making companies aware of that, because we do often approach companies that say, I don't want any candidates that don't want to work for me. If they don't want to actively apply, if they can't wait 6 weeks for my feedback, I don't want them. And that's sort of our job, to really teach is a bad word, but sort of to
educate the market.
Really educate the clients, and really educate them to the extent that they won't be getting talented employees if they do not change their mindset. You have to be quick, you have to be open, and you have to be very open or very appreciative towards leads. So basically, it is very valuable for a company to know that Mr. Müller, to use a German example, with this and this cell phone number and this email address, is highly qualified. Call him and convince him that your company is the best thing that can happen to him. And that's sort of the education process that we always have to walk our clients through. Not always, of course. There are lots of companies that have really wrapped their minds around it and really have understood that that's how it's going to be happening. Those are the companies that are winning the talents currently. But yeah, we do always every now and then approach companies where we really have to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to wake you up at this point. That's not how it's going to work.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, do you think this also is going to be true for, let's say, I mean, I don't like to name people, but let's say Goldman Sachs, people who get like 10,000 applications for one intern position?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you mean like the top 10%ers? Yeah, we have a few campaigns for companies that are looking for the top 10%. And those are especially people where the companies really have to fight for the person. I mean, it's very industry specific. I've heard things like they organize helicopter round tours in order to convince talent. I mean, that's very over the top. And the point is that companies really need to be understanding, especially if you want the top people. Right. You really need to be fighting for the people, because it is, as I said, the war of talents. You have to fight for your talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. So as I started my blog in Tel Aviv, then I moved to Zurich, and we got a lot of insights from these two places. And I would like to hear a little bit about the Berlin startup ecosystem. Yeah. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit on what we find here, and maybe still what's good and what could be improved here in Berlin. Yeah.
So we have the direct comparison between Munich, so the south of Germany, and Berlin. And what we really noticed, and also the reason why we actually stayed in Berlin, because originally we wanted to come for 3 months for the program, but then we just gave up all of our apartments in Munich and we stayed in Berlin, just because it's a lot faster. It's in Munich, it's okay, do you have time for lunch in 6 weeks at 1 o'clock? And in Berlin, it's okay, can we do coffee later?
Yes.
It's I don't think it's as advanced as Tel Aviv, not as advanced as the Valley, probably. But for Germany, I think Berlin is an ideal spot to be founding a company. And people are open. People are very open. People are open to new ideas. And also we're, of course, highly profiting from the Axel Springer network.
Right.
I'm also personally, as I said in the beginning, from Berlin, so my network is better here. So that's really the reason why we decided to stay here.
Sure.
But I would love to get to know Tel Aviv as well, of course.
I'll show you around.
Yeah.
I'll tell people to show
Yeah.
you. But maybe also something critical about Berlin, or everything is...
Well, you need
Perfect.
or a sort of a danger is the so-called event hopping.
Yes.
So every single evening you could be attending a meetup or a so-called Stammtisch, so basically where all the developers meet or all the HR people meet, and then presentations and networking and here and there. Fun and definitely good, and also good to occasionally be taking, it's also recommendable to take part occasionally. But if you do that every evening, you have no time to work. So that's just something you need to be aware of. But if you pick out specific events that really do bring your company forward, I think that's very helpful.
Sure.
And it's nice to have the opportunity. Just need to filter. Yeah.
Matilda, thank you very much. I really appreciate for coming over, having this conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. To my audience, thank you very much for staying till the end of this interview. I really appreciate your time. And thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon with the next one. Have a great day.